Hello everybody, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are here for the very first time, and welcome to this sneaky peek at the Song of the Grandmothers Oracle deck by Kara Simons, and this deck is illustrated by Maritza Rice Aparicia Tavar, and I'm probably slaughtering your name, Mari, I'm so sorry. Mari also goes by Mari in the Sky and is the creator of the Gentle Tarot. Kara Simons and Mari got together to create this deck, and I could not be more delighted to have a prototype copy of it in hand. And at the time that you're seeing this video, there's a Kickstarter live right now for this deck, and I cannot wait to show you. So a few things out of the way. This is a prototype deck, and prototype decks are not created the same way that the final deck, which will be on Kickstarter, is created. So that's important for you to know. While this one feels lovely, it won't match the final version. So the final version will have a nicer cardstock, it'll have a matte UV finish, and it will also have a detailed full color guidebook, a 2-part box, more blank cards that you can create for your own grandmothers with. And it's going to be great, okay? It's going to be great. I'm very, very excited for it. And hopefully by the time you see this video, the Kickstarter is already off to a wonderful start. I think it's much deserved, and I think a lot of care and love went into this deck. Now, there are a few other walkthroughs, and I definitely encourage you to watch more than one if you're curious about this to get different perspectives on the deck. But today, I'm going to go through the cards and give you my thoughts and my impressions, and we're just going to have a little playtime with the cards. Now, along with the deck, Kara did send me a really lovely note, and this is also Kara's business card, which I'm going to put up on the screen in case you'd like to screenshot this. But her website is joyfulresonance.com. Kara is also the creator of the Prairie Majesty Oracle, which is a really, really lovely oracle that I've also reviewed here on the channel. All right, with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. Now, the first thing I want to show off, because I think it's super fun, is along with the deck came this really great little spread card that I'm excited to play with. And we may just do a sample reading with this a little bit later, but this is Grandmother's House. And this is a sample of a spread that's going to be included in the guidebook. So it's just one spread. I assume there'll be more than one in the guidebook. And it covers theme, anchor, challenge, inspiration, and forward, which is really interesting. And I'm excited to give this a try. But first, let's take a look at the cards. I'm so excited. So we're not going to spend too much time on cardstock and that sort of thing because this is just a prototype, but I think it feels nice. It's matte and it feels pretty bendy. So I don't know how that will compare with the final version, but I'm pretty pleased with it. So here we have the beautiful backings, and we have this like mosaic rainbow kind of scenic. When you see it from a distance, it really looks like a scene, and it looks beautiful on this cloth too, but it really looks like a scene, and I think it's super, super lovely. And the art style is very recognizable as Mari's art style, and I just really want to go into all of these cards. So we're going to zoom in, take a little flip through. Oh, and before I get too far in, one of the things that first enchanted me when I saw this deck for the first time, and I saw it for the first time over on Crochet Witchery, Crochet Tarot, oh goodness. And I saw this for the first time over on Krista's channel, which I will link down below. I'll link her walkthrough because I think she did a lovely job on her video of this deck, and it just absolutely charmed the pants off me. But anyway, she pointed out, and it just grabbed me so quickly, that on each card you have the title of the card, you have a single keyword, and you guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a bit, how I feel about good keywords. So the fact that there's a title and a keyword, check for me. I love that. And then at the bottom, there's a little haiku, which just, if you like to read intuitively, having this much information as well as beautiful artwork on a card, it's just like my perfect situation, right? It's one of the things that I actually really like about some of the other decks that I have, but this feels like it's merged. One type of deck that I've had where it's like a really good title and keyword, and another type of deck I've had where there's like these poetic kind of words on it that I can jump off of. This has both. So I feel like there's a lot to work with, which is very exciting. Okay, enough babbling about the format of the cards. Let's get into our little walkthrough here. Something else, which okay, I said I was going to start, and clearly I'm still excited, and I'm still babbling. But the other thing that I really, 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 really am excited about is that this deck features lots of different pieces of nature, and everything is named Grandmother, which just gives me this cozy, comforting, like nature's got me kind of vibe, and I adore that about this deck. But what I really love is that you'll see all aspects of nature showing up in this deck, not just animals, not just plants, not just rocks, not just weather, but a little bit of everything. And I think that's really special and unique about this deck, and I'm just super excited. Okay, let's get into it. So we're starting off with Grandmother Amethyst, and her keyword is enoughness, which I think is just such a potent keyword to kick off with. I mean, sold. I'm in, right? And here's our haiku. Child, you are beloved, a gem prized by all your worth, immeasurable. Oh. just prepare for lots of happy sounds for me. Here we have grandmother butterfly, and her keyword is transformation. Beautiful and perfect for a butterfly. Love your present self. Makeover, outgrown perception. Life's too short to wait. Grandmother lavender. This artwork it's so soft and gentle and loving. Grandmother Lavender's keyword is homeostasis, which is so interesting. The pendulum swings to and fro, seeking balance, what feels right to you. Oh. Grandmother Peppermint, reset. Aromatic lift, expand your inside senses. Inhale, exhale, love. Oh, I love it so much. Grandmother Prickly Pear Cactus, individuality. So perfect for the cactus. And I'm not going to read every haiku. We're going to continue to go through. I'm going to really focus on the keywords and the artwork, but it's beautiful. Grandmother Primrose, self-trust. Self-trust is a great expansive keyword. Love it. Grandmother Rose, unconditional love. Yes. Grandmother Rosemary, source. And I love that the keyword is source, and we can really see the roots in the artwork too. So it really lets you sort of think of or draws the eye to the idea that the rosemary has this strong supportive root system. Grandmother Shadow, awareness. Now I think these are poppies, so that's super interesting to me. And I like that we see the shadows reflected on the field behind them. Grandmother Sunflower, nourishment. Love this. The way the sunflower turns to the sun and all the seeds that it produces. Oh. Grandmother Zebra, confidence. I love specifically that in this artwork, the zebra is stepping forward into this beam of light, really illuminating itself, letting itself be seen as it is. Grandmother Brook. And here we see a different type of nature, right? Humor. Of course, the babbling brook, the laughing, the laughter of the brook. I mean, it's so on point with the keywords. Grandmother Elephant, community. It also doesn't feel tied to a particular geography. Like it doesn't feel like it's specific about a type of area in the world. It feels like it covers the whole world, which I love. I don't know how to describe what I mean by that, but just that like zebras and elephants, we might think of a certain part of the world, right? And then we might think of lavender. I think of lavender as a certain part of the world. And like here we have penguins, and we would think of a different part of the world, right? So we have Grandmother Emperor Penguin, movement. And of course, I cannot help but think of the penguin movie. Oh gosh, what's it called? Happy Feet? Oh my gosh. The idea of dancing and the penguin, it just cracks me up. And I like that we're seeing the way that they're connecting with each other in the shadows here. So beautiful. Grandmother Firefly, celebration. Yes. Grandmother Hermit Crab, sanctuary. These keywords are very well thought out, in my opinion. Grandmother Hummingbird, joy. Ugh, I love this art style too. I can't. Grandmother Iris, connection. We see the reflection of the rainbow on the petals. Beautiful. I'm going to say beautiful a lot. I'm sorry. Grandmother Linden, frequency. I cannot wait to get into the guidebook. And I do have access to a digital guidebook, but I really just wanted to do this walkthrough focusing on the cards and the art because that is how I primarily use my Oracle decks. Grandmother Moon. This is such a gorgeous image. Unity. And again, you can key into keywords in this haiku below. So it says elusive constant, always moving through phases, never less than whole. It's so beautiful, right? The moon is always the moon. We just see it in different ways as it moves through its phases. Grandmother Pear, timing. This is such a gorgeous image, right? At what point is the fruit ripe, right? Oh. Grandmother Tortoise, equanimity. Sacredness and pause. Practice patience on purpose. No momentum lost. I mean, these are some really potent messages. Grandmother Bear, permission. Yes, holding boundaries, knowing that you're safe. Grandmother Bumblebee, completion. Stop your worrying. Nothing left for you to mine. Buzz off, fly away. You've already gotten everything you can from this flower. It's time for a new one. That is such a cool message for completion. I love it. And here we have a crystal. And this is probably about the point in Krista's video when I started to kind of lose my mind a little bit because I realized that thus far we have had crystals, bugs, flowers, herbs, right? What do you call a prickly pear cactus? Food? I mean, I know you can eat them. More flowers, right? A whole plant, sort of its whole self, more flowers, animals, pieces of nature like this brook here, right? More animals and bugs and sea creature, flowers, tree, moon. I mean, I was just like, wait a minute, this is very complete. It feels very complete. It feels very holistic, maybe is a good word. In any case, we have Grandmother Lapis Lazuli, and we have Truth. Grandmother Jasper for Shield. Grandmother Oak is Strength. I love that we see the acorn and the potential of it here. The idea that the tree is kind of branching off here, the leaves. Grandmother Orca, Power. Yes, 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 yes. I like that. I think it would be easy to pigeonhole Orca into a different keyword, right? And I like that we've got power here. We're not diminishing the strength of her in this deck, and I think that's gorgeous. Grandmother Rain, Acceptance. And I love how the rain is reflecting the rainbows in the sky. Oh, this is so good. Allowing is key. Drip drops anoint the feelings flowing through your heart. Oh my gosh. Grandmother Spiral is Wisdom. We have a fern unfurling or uncurling here. Grandmother Violet is Introspection. And again, I'm like in love with the keywords. Okay, and this card would have probably sold me on the deck regardless of everything else. But Grandmother Weeping Willow. So for as long as I can remember, I've called the Weeping Willow tree Grandma Willow, like Grandma Willow. That's what I've called it. And seeing this represented in this deck, just like it felt like coming home. Here we have release as a keyword, and there's something about that works for me, and I don't know if I can put it into words, but to me, the Weeping Willow tree represented the idea of a haven or a safe space, a place where I could be myself, even though I didn't necessarily have access to one. This is going to sound so strange, but I guess in a way, I sort of always had one in my imagination. I always had this space, this like reading nook. And the idea of release, I think, gives me the idea that I could go to a space like that and release whatever troubles have been weighing on me. I could kind of let it go a little bit and lean into the strength of Grandma Willow. And so that's kind of what this makes me think of. So beautiful. Grandmother Wolf is our healer. And Grandmother Black Panther represents passion. Grandmother Bluebell, Hope. And Grandmother Ocean, Freedom. I love that there's an ocean card in here. Grandmother Pearl, Viewpoint. Grandmother Prairie, Exploration. Grandmother Raven, Unknown. Mysterious void reveals its heart to seekers willing to enter. Oh, it's so good. Grandmother Salmon, Determination. Grandmother Spider, Creativity. Permission to make. Spin your threads, your web create everywhere you go. Oh my gosh. Grandmother Squash Blossom, Abundant. Harvest is coming. Everything you want or need planted just in time. Squash blossoms can be stuffed with cheeses and other delicious things and cooked. I'm just saying. I may have had a squash blossoms with cream cheese and deep fried. I mean, I'm not saying that's the way you have to eat squash blossoms, but it's such a cool moment. It reminds me of a time when we had a little garden. Grandmother Star, Magic. Yes. How to cast a spell. This is so potent. How to cast a spell. Dream, believe, imagine, ask, open the pathways. Yes. Grandmother Time, Surrender. Grandmother Orange, Cheer. Yes, please. Grandmother Gorilla, Empathy. Grandmother Horse, Volunteer. Honorable Heart, your willingness to carry lightens the world's load. Grandmother Humpback Whale. This image is stunning. Impact. Impact is the keyword. Grandmother Octopus, Legacy. Grandmother Ostrich is Honesty. Grandmother Poppy is Lineage. Now, I thought that other card, the shadow card, was also poppies, but I'm not sure. So I'd be curious if you saw it. They were poppies, right? Question mark? This is really beautiful. So it says, those who came before paved the way for you to bloom. Give thanks, do the same. Grandmother Redwood. This perspective is my favorite. My favorite thing to do when I'm around tall trees is to get very, very close to them and look straight up. There's something powerful about that, and I love that that's the image we have here. And I've been blessed to be able to see redwoods. Not the giantest redwoods. I've not been to California or the redwood forest, but I've seen redwoods, and they're beautiful. And they do have this power about them. Witness and record. Storytellers persevere. Lessons passed along. Which speaks to the age and wisdom of these beautiful trees. Grandmother Swan is Silence. Grandmother Turkey is Hindsight. Grandmother Walrus, Mission. Grandmother crocodile, death. Grandmother dandelion, detoxification. I love this. Remove what hinders. Intelligent refinement leaves only what serves. Grandmother desert is exposure. Oh, I love this. No way to avoid the journey before you now. Exposed, burn off doubt. Oof. Grandmother earthquake, energy release, fissures revealed on purpose, shaking up your life. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't. It's so good. Grandmother iguana, separation. Grandmother lightning, burst. Grandmother mushroom, decay. I love that we see more of the mushrooms. Mycelium? What is it called? Mycelium? Oh my gosh. I hate that I can't come up with the word because I know it. In any case, I love that we see that there. Oh my gosh, it's right on the card. Mycelium web, fruit born of decomposing breakdowns that bring fuel. Yes. Grandmother shark, ache. This is so interesting to me because, again, like some of the other keywords, they haven't gone for the obvious here, which I really genuinely appreciate. I feel like there's been a little bit more digging, which is really appreciated. So here, pain is a teacher. None of us excused from class. Greet the lesson. Stay. Ache is such a super interesting keyword for shark, and I love it. And then we have grandmother stingray for surprise. Expectation dies every time surprise is born. Don't get too attached. I mean, it's so good. Grandmother tornado, uprising. Indignant whirlwind, revolving revolution, leveling the field. Grandmother volcano, change. There's no turning back. What was once before, now not. Demarcation point. And then a blank card, because you will get some of these in the Kickstarter deck. So let me zoom out. Now, I'm not going to worry about the blank card right this second. I'm going to just pull it aside. So I need to do a couple things here. I need to do the obvious, first of all, which is shuffle this. But we're not going to judge the shuffle again because this is just a prototype. So it's not really a good reference point for you who might be considering backing it on Kickstarter. But for me, it is a lovely little shuffle, and I do want to mix up the cards. So we're going to shuffle. And I'd like to just pull aside here. I didn't give it much shuffling, but that's okay. I pulled aside here my Gentle Tarot, my copy of Gentle Tarot by Mari in the Sky. And I just thought this would not be a complete video without showing what these decks might look like next to one another. So I'm going to stick our grandmothers here in the center and split my Gentle Tarot in half and place it to either side and just take a little look. We're just going to take a little peekaboo and see kind of how everything looks. And right away I can see that of course the art is going to be cohesive, but also I feel like the energy is feeling cohesive. So here, for example, we have Grandmother Firefly, celebration, but we have the Devil and we have Temperance. And so on either side, now again, this deck is also, are we not shuffled very well? We're not shuffled. I must have had this in order for something I was doing. So it's not going to be the best example of readings because it's not mixed up. But taking a look at the art and how it goes together and the energy and how it goes together is really interesting. I mean, hello? But I don't feel like this is a deck that would lock me into only using it with the Gentle Tarot. But I mean, I can't deny that this would be an absolutely just gorgeous pairing. Wowza. I don't even know what to say. Look at this. And I feel like this brings a little bit of brightness, whereas I feel like the Gentle Tarot leans just a little bit deeper in its tones, a little bit darker. And then we have this kind of brightness in the middle, and I feel like it just offsets and complements, which is super exciting. Just going to grab some randoms here. Hello? I love that. Okay, so I'm going to get the Gentle Tarot out of the way. I just had to. I had to see what it was going to look like. And I'm also, I backed Mari's pocket Gentle Tarot, so I can't wait to get that. This really needs to have a good shuffle as well. But we don't need to do that right this second, Lisa. Let's calm down. So I'm going to put this away. And I'd like to give the grandmothers a much better shuffle. And then I'd like to try this grandmother spread. I might not lay it out exactly like this because I don't know that we have the room. So let's see. We can pile them up, actually. I think it'll be okay. So let me give these a good mix. Nope. Okay, so the positions are theme. You're visiting this grandmother's house for tea or perhaps something stronger. Then 4 of her friends show up with advice for integrating this theme into your life. So we have the anchor, who will help you physicalize the theme. The challenge, who has your back if or when it gets rough. The inspiration, who offers ideas, cheer, and encouragement. And forward, who helps you move into what's next for you. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So we're going to do a little sample spread, a little pretend. All right, so first up, the theme. And I think I'll just set the theme to the side so we have more room for the... I might just do this in a completely different shape. Is that... Am I totally breaking all the rules? Yes. Do we care? No, because we want the spirit of the spread here. So, all right, one last shuffle. What's the theme? What's the theme? Shield, Grandmother Jasper. All right, so this is our primary theme, is the shield. I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to see who her 4 friends are. Who are the 4 grandmothers that are going to help? So anchoring, who's going to help us physicalize the idea of shielding? We have Grandmother Linden, frequency. And who's going to challenge? Who has your back if or when things get rough? We have Grandmother Lavender, homeostasis. Oh my goodness. And then who is going to offer ideas, cheer, and encouragement? Let's just put this one down here. And we have Grandmother Orca, power. That makes so much sense. And then who helps you move into what's next for you? We have Grandmother Pear, timing. So let's take a look at these. So I have a little more room than I thought, so we can bring them this way. These are the 4 friends. Again, I did the spread a little differently than it shows, and this is our primary theme. So the shield says, protection offered, energetic buffering while you recover. So to me, this tells me that the theme is about kind of guarding my energy. Let's just say we're reading this for myself. Guarding my energy while I recuperate a bit. There's been a lot going on, and I may need to just sort of have some time to sort of rest, recover. So physicalizing that, we have Grandmother Linden, frequency. No choice but your own shows you where you want to go. Use your volition. And to me, that really speaks to taking responsibility for what I take on and what I allow, really being in charge of my own life. That's what I'm getting from that in this moment. And then card number 2 is the challenge. Who has your back if and when it gets rough? Lavender. Grandmother Lavender. Homeostasis. The pendulum swings to and fro, seeking balance. What feels right to you? So this is a very cohesive message, right? We have the take responsibility, right? We need to rest and shield so that we can recover. That's the overall message. So Linden is helping us tune into that self-responsibility to not take on more than we should. And then this whole idea of seeking balance and really feeling out what feels right so we can find that sweet middle point where things aren't being overdone, where we're in a good space. And then down here we have who offers ideas, cheer, and encouragement. Grandmother Orca, power. Vast, cool reservoir, access serene sovereignty beneath your surface. This idea of remaining empowered in how I move through my life. I have to remember that I have the choice and that I'm allowed to do what I want to do with my life. And that's a really empowering message to receive. Finally, who helps you move into what's next for you? Grandmother Pear, timing. This is so on point. I can't even. Every step matters. Pay attention to sequence. You're in the right phase. Trusting that I'm where I need to be. I may not always feel like I'm moving and shaking and I'm getting things done in the way or in the pace that I wish that I was. But these cards are really sort of hammering home the point that what's most important is that I protect my own energy and I recognize that there are limits to everything, that I take responsibility for my choices and really seek the balance. And also remember that I am in charge of my own life. I get to do things how I want. But also to trust that I'm in the right place at the right time right now. And all of that can help me to shield and protect my energy. So really, really beautiful reading. Very easy to read the cards because I have enough to go off of. I didn't immediately think how frequency ties into Linden's message, but the haiku gave me a beautiful jumping off point, and that was true as well of the homeostasis in the lavender card. These others, I feel like I jumped off of easier, but reading the haikus really added to my reading, which is really, really, really cool, and exactly what I was hoping would happen. So getting a chance to have a sample spread and really try a sample reading and see how it's going to come out, I think it really enhanced my experience, just sort of getting to know this deck a little bit. I hope it's also given you an idea of what to expect from this deck, and I will have a link to the Kickstarter down below. I do hope you'll check it out. I know that not every deck is for everybody, and never feel any pressure ever, ever, ever to purchase or buy something that is not calling to you. There are lots of beautiful things, and we can't possibly love all of them, right? Oh, this is going to fan so beautifully, and I'm so excited about it that I keep not looking at my hands. I keep looking in the viewfinder. Look, oh, so pretty. So again, this won't be the exact same cardstock, but it does make a very satisfying little fan. So that, my friends, was a little peek at the Song of the Grandmothers. I am so excited to get a chance to play with this, and I cannot wait to see how the Kickstarter does. Thank you again to Kara for sending me this prototype to check out and to share with all of you guys. As always, extra big thank you goes out to my Unicorn Fam channel members. You guys really, really do a lot to help support what I do here, and I appreciate you all so, so much. To all of you watching this video, please do remember that you're watching, you're liking, commenting, subscribing. All the actions you take here on the channel are so, so, so appreciated. And most of all, I just really genuinely appreciate that you're here watching this content, because that is why I'm doing it. So thank you so, so much. And to all of you, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, all.